Hello everyone, welcome. In this episode, we're going to talk about why the first 100,000 is the most difficult to save. I'm going to break it down into why it's difficult, the maths behind why after 100,000 makes it easier to invest or to earn money, and then also the third is my personal strategies to get you from zero to 100,000. Let's get on with it. So, I'm going to start with Charlie Munger. So, Charlie Munger, as most of you know, was a right hand man to Warren Buffett. He recently passed away. I think I'm going to just read out one of his quotes, which is very popular. The first 100,000 is a bitch, but you got to do it. I don't know what you have to do. Find a way to get your hands on the 100,000. After that, you can ease off the gas a little bit. Charlie Munger, of course, is talking about legal ways of making the money. So, why it's difficult to get the 100,000. So, first of all, let's clarify, right? Why is it important to earn money? Money buys you freedom and options. Freedom and options to do whatever you want to do, when you want to do, if you want to do. Okay. So, let me I repeat it again. So freedom and options. Money buys freedoms and options so that you can do whatever things you want to do and whenever you want to do. Okay. So that's I feel, in my personal opinion, it's a very important a goal or aspiration or a focus you want to spend some time to try to get yourself financially freedom before doing the things you like. Okay. Also, 100,000 is a big milestone. It could be so somebody who doesn't have any money wouldn't think about getting a million or a 10 million or a 100 million in the first goal. The first goal is usually 100,000, which people know subconsciously that if they work hard or if they learn or they educate themselves, they can hit that 100,000 mark. So also 100,000 is an important milestone, is because it could be like 2 or 3 years of not working and hustling on your idea. It's just a mental confidence knowing that you don't have to worry about it because you're covered for first 100,000, and then you can plan and you can leverage the money for other things. So it's a big mental milestone. Getting 100,000 is very hard. It's not easy, but I want to tell you it's normal. So that's the way how it's supposed to feel like, and that's the way it is. So it is hard, and that's normal. So get that in your head that this is extremely hard, or this is something very challenging. It's supposed to be challenging, and it's supposed to be hard, and that's why it's the topic of the video is why the first 100,000 is difficult. I know from my personal experience, it took me a while to get to that first 100,000. Yours can take X number of years depending on your habits and then also your motivation to get to that 100,000. So I grew up in India in a poor family, so there was no much motivation needed. I was motivated to make sure get out of the rut and then also get to that 100,000. It was a big relief. It was challenging, but it was fantastic to know that I had my first 100,000 so that you could use the leverage and do other things. Why is it so difficult? It's difficult is because you're using time as a leverage to earn money. So there is only so much time in a day, and then also assuming you are probably in your teens or you're just in early 20s or 30s or wherever you are, you're low skilled or probably you're getting paid low. So saving is a very difficult thing. So not only you don't have enough skill, but also your pay rates are very low. The only advantage or only thing you can do at this stage is using time to save the money. Okay, so that's why it's so hard, because when the money is very little and to get to 100,000 seems like a very, very long time, but you got to dig it and then do whatever it needs to do to get that 100,000. When you don't have money, all you have is time, and using just your time is very inefficient. You have to try out multiple things to figure out what works and what doesn't work. So it's just accumulative of wasting time, which is needed to learn different things. To figure out what you need is also another factor why it takes a long, or it's why it's so hard to get to 100,000. The first thing you want to learn is how to convert $0 into $1, and then you have to repeat it 100,000 times. So it takes time and enough energy to get to that stage. Once you get 100,000, then you can use a little bit of leverage. So leverage, as an example, is I put in a down payment of 100,000, and the bank's going to give me additional money so that I can leverage my down payment to buy a property. So the bank wouldn't give me 70-80% without me putting in that 100,000. So that's a leverage. So if there is a work which you're probably you can do something else which earns more money, and there is somebody who can do for £10, let's say, so you can outsource £10 while you have 3 or 4 hours which you can earn more money. So that's the leverage. So once you get to a stage where you're 100,000, then you can start thinking about what are the tasks which I can do to earn more money, or my time is spent more effectively, and then you can outsource other things by having a little bit of money to leverage it. So leverage can be different things depending on sales, or if you're real estate, stock market, whatever thing is, you're leveraging your money. And probably this rings a bell when you hear you need money to make money. This is probably what they're talking about, is you need a little bit of seed money or initial capital you need to leverage to get more money. So this is what they're talking. And the first 100,000 is that money to make more money. So also you think about in UK, I think the standard average price, in UK, the average minimum pay is about £11.44. But in US, it's about $7.50 average on different states. Different states have different things. So first thing probably you want to do is to think about, is there any 1 day or 2 day certification course which I can do to earn more than 7.5 or $10 per hour is what you want to try to do. So when you're optimizing the time, look at what are the things I'm doing. Am I getting more or less? You want to look for things which you can earn more, at least till 100,000. So in my opinion, it's like, I don't care whether you like the job, you don't like the job, as long as it's legal and ethical, and then you're going to get paid. I'm going to pick those things. So in my case, if I can go back, I would think about doing an Uber or putting up boxes in a supermarket or whatever, where the above asking rates are slightly higher. Okay, let's look at the maths behind, or the reason why after 100,000 life becomes a little easier, or it grows. So number one is exponential growth. So what I want to show is a difference between linear growth and a tangent growth. Let's go through what an exponential and a linear growth looks like. So in the graph, you can see the blue line is a linear growth. Every year it adds consistently over a period of time, whereas the exponential growth looks the same for the first few years. Let's say the first 3 years, it's almost the same, and then it rapidly grows. It's called an exponential growth. Okay, I will show you an example. So let's say year one, that is 0. In the beginning, you put in £100 or $100, and then let's say each year you're getting $10 in return. And in this case, the exponential growth, you're getting 10%. Okay, so you're getting 10% returns and 10%, $10 in growth. So in year one, it's $100. In exponential, it's still 100. After year one, it's $110. In exponential, is still 110. So the first 2 years, it looks like it's exactly the same. After year two, it's $120, but exponential has slowly started creeping up, is 121. And after year three, it looks like you are with $130, while the exponential has gone 133.10. So you see a gain of 3.10. Fast forward, if you look at the beginning, so you're exactly the same. After 7 years, you have $170, whereas an exponential growth has $195. After 14 years, you have 240, and exponential growth is 380. After 21 years, you have 310, whereas it's huge. After 21 years, you have $740. So this is a very important distinction between a linear and an exponential growth. So you're always is adding to the compound interest. Okay, so that's the difference between a linear growth and an exponential growth. So the second thing is portfolio size. So the portfolio size makes a big difference. So let's assume you have $100 invested into stocks and shares, and it gives you a good 10% return. So end of the year, you'll have probably about $110. So you made $10 over 100,000. At this day and age, probably you get a cup of coffee, and it's not going to make any significant change in your life. But assume you have 100,000, and 10% would give you 10,000 per year extra. This is a huge difference compared to $100 to $100,000. So the difference, even though it's the same amount of percentage, same amount of effort, but just because the portfolio size or the capital size is much bigger, it's 100,000. So you're getting 10,000 per month. Assume the same thing. If you had $1 million, then you'd be making 100,000 every year. So that is a huge difference. So you need to go from 0 to 100,000, and then the returns has a significant impact on your life. And you can see changes. It's like a snowball. So once it starts, it's really small. As it keeps rolling, it picks up more snow and momentum. So both are important. So, okay, let's look at this graph. So if you're investing 10,000 per year at 7% interest, it will take you 31 years to make $1 million. Okay. So as I said, this one is not a tangent. This is linear. So it takes about 31 years to hit $1 million. Okay. So let's just look at into how many years it takes trying to get to that stage. So if you switch to this image, so this one, you can see the first 100,000 took 7.5 years. And the second, to hit 200,000, it took less than 7.5. It's 5.5, 5.25. This is approximate. And the 300,000, it's 3.75, and so on. Every 100,000, it's reducing in time. By the time you're 900,000, you're doing it close to a year or 13 or 14 months. So it's just amazing when you look at the frequency and why the first 100,000 is the most difficult thing. It's for a reason why it's difficult. Okay, so always keep in mind the first 100,000 will be tough. And the other thing I want to share is, let's look at 30 years for you to make $1 million. So it'll take 7.5 years. That is 25% of your time. 7.5 years either way, whichever way you want to think, to make just 100,000. The remaining 900,000 will be done in 22.5 years. Okay, so look at 300,000. To make 300,000 is more than 50% of your time is spent in making 300,000. If it feels very tough, as I said, it's normal. You're on the right path. If you are already reached 300,000, congratulate yourself or pat your back. You're already 50% in making a million. So the next 13.5 years will make you 700,000 as long as you continue doing investing every year 10,000. Okay, this is a phenomenal image to have and think about, is why the first 100,000 is such a difficult and a challenging task. The portfolio size matters. After 100,000, then you can see improvements, not only mentally but on the financial aspect. You see big changes in your portfolio or the amount of money you have earned. So the portfolio size and the exponential growth are some of the tangible or mathematical assets or improvements, but there are a lot of intangible assets which I feel is like equally or more important than hitting the 100,000 mark. So the financial habit, what you have learned from 0 to 100 is going to be useful for your rest of your life. That's a habit you've cultivated, and that's a very good habit for you to know, because you need to understand finances, you need to understand how the budgeting works, you need to understand how to know your finances, you know your expenses and your spending. That's a habit once you've accomplished or mastered, that will serve you for the rest of your life. Not only you will start understanding the power of it, but you can start seeing the money working for you instead of you working for the money. It gets you out of the comfort zone. So 0 to 100, you have to get out, do things. Probably it needs a lot of sacrificing your holidays. Maybe it's not going out meeting your friends every day, but that will get you out of the comfort zone. And there is no way you can get to 100,000 without doing the budgeting. So you need to understand how to budget, what I need to save before you need to spend. If you're interested in budgeting, there's another video I can put in. So you're doing consistent contribution. So again, I'm stressing out habits because you need to consistently put in money for a very long period of time to get that. You are financially educated, so you understand how the finance works and you're looking for better option, or because there is only so much you can save, you're looking for where I can earn more, and then you're curious, and then that's how you learn more things. And also another thing is, because it's going to take about 7 or 8 years to get the 100,000, you'll understand the markets go up and down. Okay, so you will be a little more thicker skinned when you come out of that first 100,000. You will know that it's all right, the market's going to come back up, or when it goes down, you're not going to panic, and then you'll understand that that's an opportunity for you to invest more money. So you start looking at small changes has a big impact. All those small things you adjust every week or every month over a period of a long time is going to have a big impact. So you'll start probably looking at, how do I need a fancy phone? Probably you'll switch with a smaller phone, a better contract, fewer subscription, cheaper car, fewer meals outside, cooking more at home. Those are the kind of things you'll automatically start tweaking, because that's the only way you can save money is by spending below your means, and then increasing your investment or increasing your pot where you can invest into the fund. Also keep in mind, there's only so much you can save, but the potential of earning is infinite. So you want to save, try to get to that stage. Once you know the habit, then you start thinking about better ways to earn more money. Okay, the third thing, let's talk about what are the strategies, or what did I do to make you get to 100,000 as fast as possible. Okay, number one, being financially literate. Unfortunately, schools don't teach you. You want to learn what's the best way to earn more money. It could be looking for a part-time job, as I said, looking for a job which pays more than normal to get to that stage is what is very important. So in my case, I did odd mechanical job. I'm a mechanical engineering, but also I paint. I used to do a market stall in Cambridge, so I used to get that extra money, try to get to that first 100,000. It took me a while to get to that stage. Living below your means. Number two is living below your means. So always try to stay below your means. You're not trying to keep up with the Joneses. You have to allocate your money to investment first, and then the remaining. So you always try to live below your means. And the number three, as I talked about, is budgeting. Budgeting is super critical. You need to understand how much you earn, how you spend, how much your earnings are, and then what I can do to adjust or control. So you need to do all the things you can in your power to reduce the spending so that you can have more money to invest. So also number four is increase your earning potential. So increase your earning potential could be taking up a side hustle, learning a different skill, all of one of those things to increase your potential. So you want to make sure that if you're busy and still broke, you're looking for a better option, or at least your earning potential is much higher. keep saying you got to pay yourself first. So if there is £100 as an example, you want to pay yourself 10 to 15 pounds dollars to yourself first, and the remaining 80 or $85 is what you have to spend. So that 15% or 20% goes into investment that you can't touch. All you have left is $80, and then you have to think about that. And the last one is delayed gratification. So you want to get the mindset of you don't want to buy things just on a whim. Wait for it, sleep on it, buy used tech, used stuff, all of the things, whatever you can do, not to get in a habit of buying something brand new every time. It could be a used car, used phone, lesser subscription with ads, whatever you have to do to get those things. So these 6 steps is what helped me and my wife get to that 100,000 as soon as possible. It could be different in your case. It could be with the partner. Obviously, it makes a much easier challenge. Or with the partner or without the partner, focus on getting the first 100,000. I hope this video was useful. Hit me with any comments. I'm happy to answer. Till next time, bye.